Do the Miami Dolphins care about the offensive line? Omar Kelly came out with a very good article, and we're going to talk about it. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, Omar Kelly came out with a very good article titled "Dolphins Remain Soft in the Trenches and Seemingly Don't Care." And I thought this was a very interesting title. So we're going to kind of go over it. We're going to talk about it, see what his thought process is on the trenches. Now, you guys know, obviously, Omar Kelly, big proprietor of Building Through the Trenches. I am as well, especially because we've seen how the offensive line and defensive line have kind of lost us games and in some turns won us games. So we're going to go into this, but real quick, I have to shout out today's sponsor, and that is BetUS TV. BetUS TV is a fantastic YouTube channel. You can go over there, check them out. They have prop bets, place spreads, all that stuff over there on BetUS TV, where you can learn about all the different sports from football, baseball, basketball, and see all the props and spreads and all that stuff over there. So go over to BetUS TV, check them out, and thank you so much for sponsoring this video. So let's jump into this Mama Jam. He starts by saying, Teron Armstead hasn't decided if he'll play another season or will end his career after 12 seasons. The man who anchored the Miami Dolphins offensive line for the past 3 years, starting 38 regular season games, could easily go either way with the decision, and the team knows this, and it's supposedly be planning accordingly. Could have fooled me. Miami already has drafted his replacement, Patrick Paul, but asking the 2024 second-round pick to replace a 5-time Pro Bowler and doing it seamlessly is no small task. Yes, you're going from Teron Armstead, who, yes, he does get banged up, but when he is healthy is one of, if not the best left tackle in football, to Patrick Paul, who has some issues, some holding issues and some other things. Neither is the position general manager Chris Grier finds himself in, asked to change a soft finesse team, one that he built, by the way, into one that's physical and forceful enough to challenge Buffalo for the AFC East supremacy. At the end of last season, Grier supposedly learned the error of his ways, and at the end of the year, he promised to rebuild the trenches. Problem is, we're still waiting. That's literally that's literally what he put. It's a good one, Omar. Last year, Grier was and now as I mess up my words, negligent. Why you gotta use big words, Omar? Come on. Last year, Grier was negligent with the Miami trenches and free agency, signing a handful of 300-pound, one-year minimum salary deals, and the draft it showed on the field. Outside of the 6.5 games without Tua Tagovailoa, who was sidelined by the concussion he sustained in week 2, and the hip injury he was sidelined for the final 2 games of the 2024 season, the Dolphins' lackluster trench play, offense and defense, weighed last year's 8-9 team. Yes, and let's not overlook that Tua's injury definitely did hurt, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, trenches, blah, 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 because if Tua played against Seattle, against Tennessee, I think if he played against the Jets, and if he played against Indy, they would have won those games. Maybe not the Jets game, but they would have won the other games. To take care of himself, and I will go to my grave saying that his injuries, his concussions, were not on the offensive line. And you could say, well, if the offensive line was better, he wouldn't have felt the need to run. No, he should use his noggin and not feel the need to run and throw the ball away or slide. There's that. Miami's run game, which was the strength of 2023's team, produced 2,308 rushing yards and 27 touchdowns, disappeared last season. That'd be funny if you put parentheses, move your hands like this. The Dolphins averaged a pedestrian 4 yards per carry and scored just 12 rushing touchdowns on 448 attempts. Only 4 teams, the Chiefs, Cowboys, Raiders, and the Rams, were worse when it came to running the ball in 2024. How did that bode for Kansas City in the Super Bowl? Not well, not well at all. Blame that on Austin Jackson midseason knee injury all you want, but the interior of Miami's offensive line was a disaster all season. Outside of signing James Daniels to a respectable 3 years, $24 million deal, Greer has done little to change that so far. And that is my problem. And I understand that I'm sounding very pessimistic, and I understand that I'm sounding very like, oh, I want it now, I want it now. The man has been the general manager of the Miami Dolphins for 10 seasons now. This is his 10th season. You would think the man would learn how to do these things properly. And that's troubling in the Miami's present. And what's troubling is that the Miami's present defensive line is even worse shape heading into the 2025 NFL draft. And again, that is where I'm sitting feeling uneasy. On too many instances, Miami struggled to stop the run last season. Opponents had an average of 4.35 yards per carry against Miami's defense, which ranked Miami's 9th in rushing yards per game, 103.5. But the shortcomings were extremely obvious when Calais Campbell wasn't on the field. Calais Campbell was consistently getting in the backfield making tackles, and he was 39 at the time. Nuts. And the Dolphins went from setting a franchise record in sacks, 56 in 2023, to producing just 35 in 2024. Miami ranked 27th in sacks per attempt, and the lack of pressure applied contributed to the secondary struggle last season. Yes. And you know what else would have helped with that? If they would have brought back Andrew Van Ginkel. Yes, it would have helped if Phillips didn't get hurt and Bradley Chubb was still on the field. I'm still upset he's blocked me. But if you would have kept Andrew Van Ginkel on the team and offered him any substance of a contract, that would have helped drastically. Getting back a healthy version of Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, who are both nursing serious knee injuries, should help. But someone has to set the table for that pass rush duo. And at the moment, Miami only has 3 defensive linemen in Sealer, Farrell, and Dickerson under contract. Again, I laughed at it yesterday's video, but the more I think about it, it's making me queasy. And 2 of the defensive linemen on the fringe NFL players who began their tenure with the Dolphins on the practice squad last year. As things stand with the NFL draft a month and a half away, if Campbell, who turns 39 September, so he's 38 turning 39, my apologies, doesn't re-sign with the Dolphins, this could be in some serious trouble, soft in the trenches yet again. And again, like I said in yesterday's video, don't sit back and wait. Of course, re-signing Benito Jones, Emmanuel Ogbah, 2 of the last season starters who remain free agents, would help, but there's a reason both are still on the market. Miami could easily add a veteran such as Raekwon Davis, who spent 4 years as a Dolphins starter before leaving to go to Indy. There's still time to add veterans who often take their time to find the right fit, the ideal situation. But Greer's not reinforcing the trenches for the second straight offseason isn't reassuring. And quite honestly, it feels like yet another empty promise that isn't being delivered on. The Dolphins should be commended for their franchise's fiscally responsible approach to free agency this spring. They have lived off a big daddy's credit card for too long, and over Stephen Ross seemingly encouraged the franchise to dial the big spending back. Yes, but there were some guys that have been signed to teams for nothing. A la Azeez Ojulari, who goes to Philly for $4 million for 1 year. Now, again, there's 2 sides to that. The Dolphins didn't offer him anything, or he didn't want to go to Miami. Could be one or the other. Last offseason, Miami handed out $121 million in signing bonuses alone to 4 players: Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Phillips, and it produced the 8-9 season, which was a byproduct of a lackluster season from all 4. So I don't blame Ross for cutting off the irresponsible spending if that was the case, but the fact Miami hasn't properly or effectively addressed what was the root of last year's issue is stunning and head-scratching. While the offseason isn't over, Miami's continued negligence when it comes to improving, enhancing, and reinforcing the trenches will ultimately lead to everyone's demise. The end. A great article. And I touched upon all of that. You don't have to go out and throw big money, right? You know, you got the guard from Kansas City who got franchise tagged, and he's probably going to get a buttload of money. You don't need to throw huge contracts at these players, but you see guys who are getting contracts that the Dolphins could use. You didn't need to go out and get Liam Eichenberg, right? They still have not released his contract information. He has signed with the team. We see the picture of him signing with the team. They have not released his contract information. Do you know why? I don't, but I'm going to make an educated guess. They don't want us to flip out if it is more than $4 million. If it is more than 1 year, $4 million. If it's 1 year, $2 million with nothing guaranteed, and they can cut him in the middle of training camp, then I'm like, fine. It's just the camp body for now, blah, blah, blah. But if it's like 1 year or 2 years and he has like $4 million a year, I'm going to be pissed. Absolutely pissed. We don't know what a contract is. There was a fake Ian Rappaport or fake Adam Schefter that came out and said it was a 1 year, $4.2 million, but then you found out that it was fake. Trenches, and I've said it for years now, and I'm going to say it again. If the Miami Dolphins can get together and put together a top 15, I'm not even asking top 10, give me top 15 trenches, they will win the division. It's all about trenches. And as we sit, me recording this, which is Tuesday night at something time, they haven't. Two players, 3 players, technically 1 starter. James Daniels. Yeah, Borum, it's a tackle, could play guard. You know, Liam Eichenberg. Get no defensive lineman. So again, I apologize if I come off sounding so pessimistic, but it's like, raise your hand if you feel good going into the season with the team as it is right now. And again, I understand it's just the first week of free agency, but there doesn't seem to be a sense of urgency from the Miami Dolphins to address the trenches. So do they care? As the title says. You answer me in the comment below. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Don't forget to go check out BetUS TV, a great sponsor of this channel. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. More news, more updates, more things to talk about. Maybe they'll sign somebody, maybe they won't. And starting Monday, we will be talking about the draft. And on April 4th, something's coming. You can hear it rumbling in the distance. Something's coming. But like usual, stay classy. Offense out.